If you've ever dreamed of building a house and this is your first time, this video is for you. My name is Arthur the Developer. I have done over 1,500 residential lots to date, and I've been able to build over 240 homes or units, everything from single family, multifamily, townhomes, etc. And today I'm going to break down the owner builder process of you finding a deal and building your home start to finish and moving in. So before you even get started in the construction side of things, and maybe you think, oh, I have to build, and you're already frozen and thinking, I can't do this, let's just take it back a step and start with step one. Step one, you want to go to your local credit union, a local credit union that has a construction to permanent loan product for your primary residence. This is a nationwide product where you can put down 5 to 7% of the total cost of the build, including the land. So you don't need cash to buy the land, and you can put down as little as 25 to 60 grand for that process. So step one, you go to that local credit union and you get yourself a pre-approval. Once you have a pre-approval, you can now start finding your land. So that was like the pre-stage before even step one. Pre-approval, let's say you're approved for 500,000. The rule of thumb is whatever your pre-approval is, you can roughly buy a lot for about 15 to 20% of that pre-approval. So you're looking at roughly 100,000. Now you know what kind of lot you can find. Step one is going to be finding that lot. You want to put it under contract. You want to sign an agreement with the property owner to buy that piece of property. During the process of that contract, so you're going to have a period of time, anywhere from 30 to 90 days before you actually purchase that property. You want to then meet with your architect and design what kind of home you want to build for yourself. How much bedrooms, how much bathrooms, and the size or square footage. You and your architect, the key here, guys, is when you're building a single family home, most people think you have to get a licensed architect. You don't. You actually don't need a licensed architect. You can get a designer. So it's called a drafter. A drafter is somebody that has experience, knows how to draft up a single family home, and doesn't have to be licensed. They just need to follow that county code. So somebody with experience that has submitted houses before to the city or county for approval is your person. They're going to be about 50% of the cost of an architect. So you're going to pay $1 a square foot instead of $2, $3, or $4. That's one awesome gold nugget for you. So you meet with your architect, you put a plan together. Once you have that plan set ready and put together, now you want to go ahead and start getting bids. The reason for it is before you close on your loan and before you close on that piece of property or the land, you want to find out the actual total cost of the project. And so the total cost of the build, or in other words, the budget, is what it's going to take is you're going to start bidding it out to 2 or 3 subcontractors for every single trade. So everything from your excavation, foundation, your framing material, your framing labor, your HVAC, your electrical, your plumbing, your countertops, your cabinets, your flooring, etc. You're going to go through the entire process and essentially send it out to 3 different subcontractors per trade. And you're going to build yourself this beautiful budget. The reason you need this is because the bank is going to require you provide the bids and you provide a budget in order for you to build your own home. So yes, you can build your own home. In some states, you don't even have to have a licensed a contractor's license. You could do it without a contract, or you could do it without a contractor license, but the bank's just going to have a couple extra requirements, like I said. So you build out this budget. Now you know what the cost of the build is going to be. So let's say that cost of build is $400,000 based on all of these bids, and the land is $100,000, so it's a total of $500,000. Now you're going to know you're going to bring to the table approximately 5% down, which is 25 grand, plus the closing costs, which is going to be around 5 to 15,000. So you're around the 35 to 40,000 to build your home. So once you have your budget put together, you have your plans completed by your drafter, now the bank can see what you're building, they can see what it's going to cost you, and they're going to order an appraiser, somebody that's going to verify the value of the home and make sure the home is worth more than what it's going to cost you, because you don't want to build a $500,000 house that's going to be worth $400,000. So they're going to appraise it. What you do is you run comparables on Redfin or Zillow, and you can see, oh, homes are selling for $700,000 in the area. Great. I know that if it costs me $500,000 and it's selling for $700,000, I have $200,000 of equity. Equity is the spread from the cost to the value. And so now the bank's going to verify it with a third-party appraiser. Once the appraiser verifies that, boom, check mark, you can now close on the land and close on the loan at the same time and get ready to start moving that dirt. So you've now closed on the land, you have your plans done, you have your budget completed for the cost, and your loan is in place. You submit those. Your drafter typically can submit those plans after they've done the engineering with, usually the drafter works with an engineer. They'll engineer it for you. They'll submit it to the city or county, get those approvals or permits. If you're in St. John, Indiana, you can get permits within a day. If you're in other areas, it might take you a month, a couple weeks, maybe 2 months. So once you have that permit approval, you now are ready to break ground. The construction process is a lot simpler than you think. I'm gonna walk through the entire process start to finish for you to complete your first home. Beginning, what you want to do is you have your property, you have a survey. A survey is literally just pointing out the boundaries of your property. And so the surveyor is going to point out the boundaries of the property, and then they're going to take the plan that your drafter put together and the site plan, which shows where the house is going to sit. And the surveyor is going to come out and they're going to stake where the foundation is roughly going to be, and they're going to offset it by a couple of feet. You call this the dig out staking. So the excavator can come in and he can see, okay, here's roughly the area of your house. I'm going to start digging that foundation. Once the excavator completes that dig out, then the surveyor is going to come back, and this is where they become precise. They're going to do hub and tack. The hub and tack means every single corner and angle of your foundation, they're going to mark it to the dot so that your foundation guy could come in and set the walls, well, forms, or set the blocks depending on your area. So it could be blocks that you stack, or it could be forms that you pour concrete inside, but they're gonna lay out exactly where your foundation is to the dot, you know, quarter inch literally. So to the dot where the foundation is. Once they set the forms or the blocks, your concrete truck comes in and they're gonna pour it to make sure that they're gonna pour the walls and your concrete's gonna be complete. Once your concrete is done, there's two different types of foundation, or two different types of foundation. One is going to be a slab, which is concrete. The second is going to be post and beam, which is wood. So if it's slab, you're going to have your plumber come in and put all of the plumbing lines first before you pour the slab. If it's the wood, which is post and beam, you actually go ahead and put your framer comes in, puts the post and beam, installs it, and then your plumber comes in and puts plumbing underneath that post and beam and through it. And so now you're all set with the underground, or I would say the under slab plumbing, or under post and beam plumbing. And next step is you have your lumber pack delivered from your lumber supplier, and now you get your framer to start framing up the walls. Typically a framer will take anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. They're gonna start framing up the first floor. Then they're gonna go to the second floor, and then the trusses are gonna get delivered. You're gonna get a crane coming on board. The crane's gonna deliver the trusses up top, and the framer, this is all the framer, usually it's a 2 to 3 man crew. They're gonna get the trusses up, they're gonna sheathe the roof, and now you finally have yourself a box. Once that is completed, you can then start with the MEPs. MEPs is mechanical, electrical, plumbing. You start with the biggest first and get to the smallest last. The biggest MEP is mechanical, HVAC. Those huge, you've got huge piping and whatnot. And so first you start with mechanical. They're gonna start doing that work. Then you go to plumbing. The plumbing is gonna go around the mechanical. And as you're doing the plumbing, you wanna start installing windows, because you have to get the windows in before you do electrical. So as you're doing HVAC or mechanical, you're putting these windows in, you're installing your doors as well. And then lastly, the electrical is gonna feed through everything because it's the smallest wire. And now you've got your mechanical, electrical, plumbing, which is called your rough-ins. Once that is complete, you then go to insulation, and now you insulate the walls. And once you insulate the walls, you go to this major stage of the project, which is called the framing inspection. The framing inspection is actually verifying, so the county or city is going to verify everything that you've installed within the walls before you cover it with drywall. So they're gonna verify the mechanical, electrical, the plumbing, the insulation, and the framing to make sure you followed the plans on what the architect or designer and engineer drafted on those plans. Little things like anchors and other things to make sure that the house is supported properly. You might have some corrections. Hey, fix these 5 things. Once you fix it, boom, you're approved. This is one of the biggest stages and inspections you want to pass. And then from there on out, it's like you're doing a remodel, because now everything is done. You can cover the walls, put drywall. So you can have the drywall contractor come in there, drywall the entire house. And from here on out, this is where the fun part is, where you get to see the finishes or the actual final product. And so once you have that drywall in, you can also do the exterior. So on the exterior, now you can, once your windows are in, you can install your siding. Once your siding is in, you can also do the roofing at the same time. And then you put the gutters on. The gutters come after the siding and roofing, because the gutters are going to be the last piece of that puzzle for the exterior. And you can also start doing flat work. So you can pour your garage slab, your concrete in your garage. You can pour your porch, your patio. So your concrete work can get done. And then typically I will leave from the exterior. I'll leave the landscaping for last, but as you finish up those things on the exterior, you can paint the exterior. So I like to paint it right away. So once I've wrapped everything up, I paint the exterior, and then I essentially wait to landscape towards the end. Back on the inside of the home, you've got your drywall completed. You've passed a big milestone on your personal home build. And now you start with, the first thing I love to do is I like to install my flooring. The reason for it is, well, actually I would install the cabinets first, then the flooring, because you don't want cabinets sitting on top of the flooring. So the way I do it is, I've seen a lot of houses where they have quarter rounds and the cabinets go under the, or the flooring goes under the cabinets. So I would go cabinets first, at least install the bases, then put the flooring right up against it. So then you install all of your flooring on the first floor. And then if you have, you know, hardwood stairs or nice certain stair treads, and then you can do hardwood upstairs. If you're doing carpet upstairs and stairs, leave carpet for literally the last thing, because the carpet could get dirty. So I always leave carpet for the end. So you've installed the flooring, boom, so cabinets go, base, flooring goes right up against it. Now you can install the base trim. So the trim that goes around the entire house. The flooring's already up against the wall, so when you install the base trim, it's a super clean, super flush look. Some people install the base, then the flooring. Well, it doesn't look clean, so they have to put this quarter round, which honestly, I don't like it. And so this is the way that I like to do it. You can do it the way that you like. It makes it look the most clean. Once you've got the cabinets in, the flooring in, the base is in, you install all of the doors as well and the trim. So window trim, each door, you do everything finished carpentry. So your finished carpentry is getting everything done. You can do the upper cabinets as well. Then you can now install the countertops. So you've installed the countertops, you've done all of the trim work, finish work. Now you can paint the interior of the house. I usually put the countertops in before I paint, because countertops sometimes will damage the drywall, or they just need a little extra space. They might scratch the walls. You want to put the countertops in first. You've painted the entire house, and now you're off to the final touches and the final finishes, which is going to be plumbing, HVAC, and electrical. So they're going to install all your light switches, all your lights, everything electrical related, your plumbing, your faucets, your sinks, your shower heads. So the plumber does that, and water heater, etc. And then your HVAC will install the fans and anything else that he needs to do or they need to do from the HVAC side of things. And then all of the minor details, like you're going to install your cabinet handles, you're going to install your door handles. And this is all the finish labor guy or the finished carpentry guy or company. They're going to install your cabinet handles, your door handles, all of your towel holders, everything in regards to finishes. And so now that you have that entire thing completed, you're essentially all set apart from the carpet. So then you can install the carpet. Well, I would do a clean. I would do a rough clean of the house, make sure there's no more dust, etc., no dirt, and then install the carpet as one of the last items. And you can also do the landscaping on the exterior as well. If you're going to do perimeter fencing, start by installing the posts, but don't install the actual boards on the fence. So install all the posts, do the landscaping, and then install all of the fence boards. It's the cleanest look, it's gonna look the best, and it's not gonna get dirty. So your house is gonna look absolutely phenomenal, beautiful, and ready to go. And then last but not least, don't forget your mailbox. If you guys are interested in starting this journey and you want to work with our team and walk through the entire process start to finish, we teach the entire thing. We have education, we have our mentorship, and we have full support, as well as all of the tools and resources that I've mentioned on this video we have for you. Text YouTube to 360-216-0304, and we'll help you get started right away with the right support and the right mentorship, and you get to work with me and my team. Thanks so much. Like, share, subscribe, and looking forward to you moving into your first home.